This is Wild on 7th, your favorite Wild podcast. Did you guys see this? This is unbelievable. What is that all about, Kinger?
Get in here for the real thing.
Like, let's get weird.
Maybe I blacked out trying to figure out what was going on.
Doubt, worry, fear, because that's what we're breaking the mold on here.
Welcome to Wild on 7th, presented by Pilot Games. We're here until it's here.
All right, welcome back to Wild on 7th, your favorite Wild podcast, presented by our friends at Pilot Games. Hey, speaking of, Pilot Games will be used in White Bear Lake, and it's a great thing because there are going to be some parents today that win, and the community is going to win too. Listen to this, King. You're going to love this. There's this whole Facebook page called Season Survivor, where the hockey parents that survived the season are going to go on a pub crawl today. So I'm pretty confident that there's going to be quite a few Pilot Games tablets on tables as parents celebrate surviving this hockey season. So, and I'm proud of them because, heck, they'll win. They're going to have a great day. And at the same time, the community wins too. They're giving back to White Bear hockey.
Who made that up? That's a gem of an idea. That also, there was an event a little before your time, perhaps, called Tour de Bar in White Bear Lake. This sounds like a reboot of that, so you might want to get a medical sponsor on this event as well. Maybe the urgency room in Vadnais Heights should be tied in with Pilot Games, because I've seen the White Bear parents go from bar to bar. Be careful if you're out there.
Then the good thing is they're not cutting corners. They got a bus, so there's transportation to and from everywhere. And the best part is the weather's lining up to be perfect. I think it might hit 70 degrees today for the first time.
Whoa, no.
Yes. Yeah. I know you're in Palm Springs right now, so we're welcoming in John from Palm Springs, California, where it's 85 and sunny all the time, but he might actually want to be back in Minnesota for this one. But
what I want, Karts, is the Bosch Law injury report after the surviving the season pub crawl.
Yeah.
That's what I need to see.
Yeah.
Are you going on? Are you in it?
Are
you doing it?
No. I might stop in to say hello and congratulations to everybody, but I won't be there for if it's a marathon, it's a marathon. Started at 10 this morning. 10 o'clock in the morning.
God.
So this is Friday. We're recording Friday, 10 o'clock this morning.
What a great idea. Do you know who came up with that?
I do, yeah. I won't say that in here, but yeah.
Well, whoever you are, you're a legend. That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, check in on them late. See what the damage is. I would go to like the last part.
The best is it ends with karaoke at like 11 o'clock at night. Do you have a karaoke song? First of all, is it karaoke or karaoke?
Karaoke. Yes, I absolutely crush La Bamba. And I get the benefit of it being in Spanish. I took like 14 years of intermediate Spanish. I just took it over and over and over again. My La Bamba would bring you to tears. It's really good.
Like,
I'll do it with you anytime.
Do you put a performance on, or do you just sit up there and sing?
I do. I move around. I do a lot of like, I, like kind of like, roll the tongue a little bit. Yeah, I get it going. Yeah, and people are genuinely impressed because it's not in English. So even if my singing is, 7 out of 10, I get like a 9 because it's in Spanish. Yeah. Yo no soy marinero, soy capitán. Soy capitán. Oh, yeah, I'm ready. I got a couple others, but they're really mixed results. Yeah. I've had success with La Bamba. How about you? What
Hold on, I need to know more. Have you practiced La Bamba at home? Like, do you get in front of the mirror, like, or in the shower, and you're just letting it rip?
Honest to God, I've sung it hundreds of times karaoke. Like, it is dialed. I don't even need the screen. I don't practice it away from karaoke, but it's holstered.
Because you've done it that much. I feel like everybody does have a karaoke song. I don't know that I do. If I did, it would be like Bone Thugs and Harmony, Ghetto Cowboy, and that's not like a good karaoke song. You'd get up there and you'd just hear crickets, but you'd see me just absolutely in the moment, loving it, being like, why doesn't everybody else dig this? That's how it would go for me.
Yeah, I'd spend some time with the book cards. When you're at the next Legion event, grab the book, the 3-ring binder, go to a quiet spot in the corner and try to find your song.
Well, and I think you have to practice. That's the thing is like if you want to
Yeah.
be good, you got to pick your song, then you got to nail it. And all you need is one, but you need one. And I will say it's come a long way because a lot of times now these karaoke outfits can get like any song, you know? So it's not like
Yeah.
you do have to study the book. You can have your song and be confident it's available.
Yeah, I love it, man. It's karaoke's fun. That'd be a great spot to check on them because you'll get all the texts tomorrow morning. Hey, think I bumped into you yesterday. I hope I didn't say anything that I didn't mean. I thought you were a great coach.
Let's check your song knowledge right now. I'm not great with song names. Like if there was a song that we were gonna play post game last night after the Wild, like it's feast or famine right now. Win two, lose two. It's you're comfortably in the playoffs. Oh, it's straight panic mode. Into we've got Washington, Ovi Watch coming to town. They win the game. What song should be the first one playing after that game? Like a little bit of relief, little excitement. Like we're okay now. Like what do you think it is?
I'd probably go Ramble On, Zeppelin version, just because I think there's a lot of pebbles and rocks in the road right now. I was shocked when the broadcast said that we had won 4 of our last 6 because that little Death Valley, Dallas and Vegas, the fan base was on the ledge with St. Louis winning every single game, including last night, of course. Yeah. I just think Ramble On. There's probably a better one if you got one. What, you got one holstered? Like
I don't have one holstered. No, that was just my transition into wild hockey. So Ramble On. Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
And the Wild just keep chugging along. So I think you have to give them credit. They've been playing a certain style for, I would say, all of March for sure. Maybe even longer than that, half of February. So 6 weeks where it's defensive hockey first, like kind of low event hockey, knowing that gives them the best chance to win. And they've stuck to it. And I'll be honest, like in the Vegas game, they were down 2, and I was kind of thinking, like, at some point, you just got to open it up. Like, you know you're not coming back in this one. Like, you got to change something mentally. Can it wear a group down? Just like grinding, sticking with it, not getting the result that you want. But I think they are getting the result that they want enough for it. Their efforts to be rewarded and for them to be satisfied. And a great example is the Washington game. They got outshot 30-21. I think scoring chances were pretty close to the same, but they had some pucks that had some eyes and got through. They switched a couple of things up on the power play to get a little different look, a little different dynamic. The puck goes in the net, and then Gustavsson's good, and they win. They shut it down. Like third period, this is a pretty amazing stat, and we'll have to get into this because last night, if you're a fan of hockey in Minnesota, you had your eye from 6 o'clock or 4 o'clock in the afternoon through, 10, 11 o'clock at night on hockey. And it was the Mavericks, Minnesota State playing Western Michigan in the Fargo region of the NCAA tournament. And then Mavericks lose double OT, good game. But actually, the Mavericks played a very similar game to what the Wild are playing right now, like shutdown defense, good goaltending. But they got beaten overtime, 2-1, low-scoring game. Then you turn on the Wild game and good hockey. But then the Gophers all of a sudden, too, where now, like, the breaking the mold started to feel like this mold might be impossible to break once again. You watch the Gopher game?
Yeah, my sleep patterns were not good last night after that game. And ironically,
you had to check the Fitbit and the REM sleep. You just couldn't get into it. It was just one eye open all night.
Well, it was a hockey smorgasbord yesterday, and credit to your Mavericks. They played a great game. Did you see the quotes from the Western Michigan guys after that game?
No.
Basically saying, they were like, respect. They dictated their style of play. It's not the same style of play we play. It's not a style of play we like to play, but it almost worked. And great effort by Minnesota State. Your team did help me because they staggered the start of that Gopher game to be deep into the Wild game, so we didn't get the double up, which was kind of fun. You really got kind of 3 games in a row. The Wild game was just a treat. We'll talk about that at length. This Gopher game, I mean, if you want to talk about the Minnesota fan thing being real, this was a haunted game, almost like I don't know, the Brett Favre, throwing across his body, 12 men in the huddle.
Gary Anderson.
There were more things. The kick. I mean, this will go in the pantheon of
Stanchion Gate. Yeah.
Yes. This is like the Soulier strap. Anyone who didn't watch it, here it is in 1 minute. Gophers are winning 3-1. They basically win every single game if they're winning by 2. They kind of dominated the game for sections. Third period, refs put their whistles away after the first. A defenseman gets murdered behind the net, hit up high twice, no call, they score. Whatever, no big deal. Goalie starts flagging to the bench. He's got an equipment issue where he's injured. I don't know what's happening. Comes to the bench. I assume they're going to pop his blade out and put a new blade in carts. Chaos on the bench, no timeout. The refs don't give him any time. The refs are like, no, put in your other guy. Ice cold goalie comes in off the bench. First shot, they score, it's tied. And then the other goalie comes back like a minute later, so he's not hurt. I don't know what happened. I can't imagine being if that's our equipment guy, DaCosta, like that was your moneymaker moment. And whatever we needed, we didn't have it. And then goes to OT. And actually, they have the lead. Snuggerud ties it, goes to overtime, and big defenseman skating down the ice, gets tripped, slides into the zone. They come back and score, no call. People are throwing bottles on the ice. It was a gigantic L, like a capital L. I mean, honestly, if I was like, we're going to fix this last night, that Gopher game, I'm like, this is real. I mean, anybody who's not from Minnesota, if you were a fan of this team, that was a gut-wrenching, gut-punching loss. I mean,
does it make you feel like there's actually some type of force suppressing Minnesota sports? Like there's something there. This isn't just bad luck. There's an actual force.
Yes, and my daughter's boyfriend went to UMass, and so we're texting the whole time. This kid grew up in Boston. So in his lifetime, I think he's like 26. He's seen 6 Super Bowls. He's seen the Celtics win it probably 3 times. UMass won it, by the way, more recently than Minnesota. He's seen the Bruins win it. So this kid's got like 16 notches on his belt, championships. And I'm sitting there with my parents and the wife watching the game, and I'm just like, I am like the mayor of Losertown. Like, it was awful. Thank God for the Wild. That game was great. We should talk about that more. But if you're a Gopher fan right now, that's a legendary loss. Legendary loss.
Yeah, that's where the segue came in, is because the Wild, to my surprise, are the only team in the NHL this year to have not surrendered or lost a game where they've had a lead going into the third period. They're now 28-0, 27-0 going into last night's game. So they can shut it down, tight games. Like that's a pretty amazing stat. Only team in the NHL to have not lost in that situation. I should have done a deep dive, and I wanted to, on the numbers there. Like, if you think about that, where the Wild are in the standings right now in the season, and how everything feels. Imagine if they're like league average, where you lose 3 of those games. So give up, call it 3 points, maybe upwards of 6 if you lose those games where you had a lead going into the third period. You lose, you're 27-3. Like, that's probably normal, right? Or 25-3, whatever. That's probably league average. The Wild would be right now maybe 1 point up on the wild card spot. And then conversely, if you take away the 2-goal comebacks that they've had throughout the season, they'd be out of the playoffs right now. So they've had some late game heroics that have been tremendous. And really the difference is what's above the average. So I think the Wild are above average when it comes to rallying in third periods to secure points. And then at the same time, unbelievable in third periods with the lead, shutting it down. So they've been able to preserve and generate points where if you look at that right now and just accumulate those, without those points, they'd likely be out of the playoffs right now.
Yeah. No, they can close it down. And what would you describe our style of play? Because when we had the 2 losses, the back-to-back, there's like a coded language from the vets, like when you hear a Zuki or Hartman talking.
That was almost panic mode,
like,
wasn't it? That was almost panic mode. Like Zuki throwing those comments out there all of a sudden, I was like, oh, this could go any way.
Well, and it sounds like they're saying that we're playing dump and chase hockey. We're not possessing the puck, dump and chase. I mean, that's what they don't say, dump and chase, but you can tell they're all buying in. They're kind of like, this is what we have to do, even if we don't want to. But there's a lot of talk about like possession and support. We need guys to support. And so you can tell it's kind of a chuck it and get it, right? I mean, is that kind of what we're doing as we are under?
What I think maybe isn't described well enough is when you're talking about support and possession in those spots, like you attack the blue line, and the rules of hockey are the puck has to pass the blue line before anybody else. So support is always behind you, and then the other talk is always about speed and pace, right? So you've got to have speed, you've got to have pace, you have to attack, but you need support. That support is behind you. What I think has been taken away is the ability to make a pass backwards in your own zone, and that's how you possess the puck and gain opportunities off the rush. You hit the second wave, maybe you pull up, you hit the D-man, maybe it's your third wave, maybe you hit second wave, go side to side, hit third wave. Washington did that. Actually, Van Riemsdyk could have had a tying goal late in the game on a play very similar to that, and it's not a play the Wild are making right now. So I don't think they're necessarily playing like dump and chase, but what they're playing is such a safe brand of hockey where they've taken the ability to make a pass backwards to support out of the game. So they can't like possess the puck and make plays and then go laterally. It's north. And I don't think it's
and you hear that.
Yeah, and I don't think it's dump and chase. I think that's what it starts to feel like, is that, hey, we're doing what we're supposed to do, but literally I'm like a top being spun. I put it in the corner, I skate to the other corner, I skate out of our zone, we stand up, they chip it out. It's just this cycle of play, and you never feel like you're playing with the puck. You feel like you're chasing it, and that's where that comes from a little bit. And I think it can be frustrating. And that's where in that Vegas game, which I already talked about, it was like, I can't believe they're not opening this up even a little bit, like seeing if you can't find a way to get a goal, because they weren't getting much in the way of chances against the Vegas team, but they stuck with it. They got one goal, they made it interesting, then Vegas ended up pulling away. But the stick-to-itiveness of this team right now is one of the strengths, and I think I might be wrong by saying, hey, open it up a little bit. So to your point, to your question, what style of play are they playing? They're playing a very playoff style of hockey. I'll go back to one of the teams I played on that had a ton of success that way, and I've talked about it, is the 2012 New Jersey Devils. Now, we did have Ilya Kovalchuk, Zach Parise, and some guys up front that could score, but we never beat ourselves. And we were so comfortable in 2-1 games, 1-0 games, where it really didn't matter. And if we felt if we just stuck with it, you have a chance. And the irony is that teams now need, it's almost like the new generation of kids and fans and everybody else that need instant gratification and satisfaction, that they're not willing to wait for it. I think what this team is willing to do is wait for their gratification. If it doesn't come up until 10 minutes left in the third period and they get their first or second goal of the game and that's the winner, it's okay. They don't need to come out and score 3 in the first 10 minutes and blow the doors off the place and celebrate. So I think that's really the style. It's the strength of the team, recognition, the strength of the team right now is in their goaltender. Support the goaltender, don't bail him out, because if he should make the stop, he will make the stop. And then offensively, if you play a certain style, we should get to maybe 3 goals a game. And I think the style up front has changed. There's not a lot of in zone, east, west, find a seam, cut to the middle, like dangerous looking plays. It's low to high, quick shot, not like walk the line. It's quick shot, like catch them with quickness, make your decision fast, get it to the net, and maybe a tip comes of that, and then goaltender has a hard time, you crash it and get a rebound, or you get good fortune. But right now, that's what it seems like, and it's doing enough.
Yeah, no, I agree, and they're all buying in. I mean, you're not seeing any. I don't know. You're not seeing a mutiny. You're not seeing guys freelancing. They are locked into it, and I think it's the only way. I think it's the way we get through this, and I do think it's going to benefit us in the playoffs because we've been a sled dog for 2 months. You know, we've had our oatmeal, we've put the thing in our mouth, and we've ran hard. And there's an adjustment for some teams where they have to start playing that style. We've been playing that style for months. So I hope
That's
it
going to
really
be good
helps
at
us.
I the first round of the playoffs, I feel like the grinders stand out, and they become the difference makers in the first round because the game turns into a grind, and they just happen to be better at it than the skill guys. So that first round, I think, comes down to, like, is your bottom six and bottom pair D like superior? Because that is what I think makes the difference. I think with the way that the Wild are playing right now, it doesn't matter who they match up against. They're going to have a better bottom six or a better time grinding or getting to the grind game faster than anybody they play because of what they're going through right now. And that might be the silver lining. It really might.
What do you think happens bottom six? So Denver's going to play, they got a couple games here to see if their season extends. If it doesn't, you got a young man named Zeev Buyum. How does that look, right? Because you got Bogo's just a man, pucks on net. Johnny Merrill has given us some miles down the stretch, some big plays, timely scoring, saved a goal, scored last night. How do you think they handle the young buck from Denver if he doesn't end up in St. Louis? Because that's a different card in the deck.
Good question. Before we get to bouillon, let's talk about bouillon, something that you can buy at Cub Foods. I know you're on the road right now, and I don't think Cub has a presence in Palm Springs, but wondering if you stopped off at Cub Foods and maybe snuck anything in the carry-on to have on your way down to Palm Springs.
You know, your transition work is so much better than mine. I would say if I was to go to a Cub Foods in Palm Springs on vacation, what would I buy? Okay. I'm going to need some hint of lime chips and some salsa. I'm going to need some sharp cheddar cheese that we can cut up and some salami so we can kind of feel like Europeans in the early afternoon. I'm going to pick up some long drinks from Finland. I'm going to maybe pick up some THC for the bride, some sodas. What else do we need? We need some Diet Squirt. We're going to need some Diet Coke for my parents. Maybe some coffee. I go heavy whipping cream in the coffee. I don't use the other stuff. And maybe some Twizzlers for late night. That's what I would get at Cub. It's the best place to buy value. One of us. Love Minnesota sports. They're breaking the mold too. Cub Foods. I can't transition like you, so would you like to start your ad now?
Don't sleep on the Cub Pub burgers either. Like when you're on that communal grill out there at these resorts, you want to flex your burgers, and the Cub Pub burgers are good.
We're not cooking. We kind of said let's just really be on vacation, but we probably should have bought some burgers. You're right.
You can accompany that with good bottled water, and you can find bottled water at Cub Foods, but you can also bottle your own, with your Kinetico K5 drinking system, your reverse osmosis water, and you can get that from our friends at Aquarius Home Services. Right now, they've got a great deal going on. They're in preparation for their open house, which is a great time. So it's like their biggest sale of the year. So if you do have any of their products, they'll have their filters on sale. It'll be the best pricing for you to get some of their products, like a reverse osmosis K5 system right there. So make sure you stop by. That's going to be May 3rd. 3rd from 3 to 5 p.m. And that goes, I think, Friday, May 2nd through Sunday, May 4th. You can find them Little Canada. Let's see here, 694 35E, whatever, look them up. But Aquarius Home Services, they're open house. They roast a pig. They've got great food, lots of fun stuff, little animals there, petting zoo for the kids to be at, great deals. So check it out, AquariusHomeservices.com. They'll have more details.
Good work.
So
I like how you were gonna do the locations, then you're just whatever. That was good. It was good. It was playoff mentality. I like it.
Moving on to Boo Yum, not Boo Yin. I think there's a couple ways to play that. So I look at the Wild last night, and they got a power play goal. They hadn't scored in 10 straight, and everything changes if you get Eriksson, Ek, and Kaprizov back. It really does. But what the Wild's power play has not had for a long time is middle top threat. And they have guys that can walk the blue line and do different things. And I think that's a skill set that Booyum has that nobody else on the roster has. So that might give him a competitive advantage where you can sign him out of college and say, hey, come in and play. I also think that it's also not fair to throw a college player into that situation. Brock Faber, for the record, is an anomaly. And so is Cale Makar. They both came out of college, jumped in, played, and were good. And the rest is kind of history. I think that's more the exception than the norm. My experience when I was coming out of college is I had the opportunity to sign right after my college season, but the management there said, this isn't really fair. It's not fair to you because it puts you in a pressure-packed situation, and though it may be great experience for you moving forward, it's not necessarily fair because you might not get the minutes you want, and everything will be different. And secondarily, it's not always fair to the guys that have been battling all year long. And that's the point I think you're making is you have a Bogosian, you have Merrill. Those guys have been terrific and really unbelievable in the absence of some of these guys up front, like a Spurgeon or Brodeen at times. So it'd be hard to go in and say, all right, well, we got this new shiny toy in Bouillon, so you guys aren't going to be playing. That's a tough one, and I don't know how they'll handle it. But where Bouillon does have a competitive advantage is he's good on the power play. And last night against Washington, they moved Boldy up. They have 5 forwards on the power play. Boldy's playing the point on the power play, and they score. And all Boldy did was pick a puck up off the wall on his backhand, bring it to his forehand, and shoot it really quick. And it's not like, oh, that was an unbelievable play from your middle top. No, but it was a threat, and the puck went in the back of the net, and it worked. So I think if you're looking at the Wild, if Bouillon can help the number one power play and give it an element, a successful element that it doesn't have, they might have to make a tough decision on whether he plays or whether somebody else sits. I think right now on paper, you look at it, it's going to have to be somebody like Chisholm, Merrill, or Bogosian. But you have to be careful because that could, upset the apple cart. You take one of those guys out, like Bogosian, veteran, loved in the room. You take somebody like that out, that might actually, even though you have an element on the power play that might help you win games, it might be net negative because it might take the wind out of the Wild's sail. So I find that to be a really tough one. I think he could help. We'll see what happens, but there's no doubt he brings an element that the Wild don't have, and that's exciting to have options and cards probably in your hand that you can play if you're Coach Hines.
Yeah, you're going to see him one way or another, right? Because I think he probably is the exception to the rule. It's very possible he's Faber, Makar-like, and he can jump in. Now, we don't know that until we see it, but the season's been so hard, Carts, right? To a group of guys, put on your fatigues, choose your hard for the entire year, walk through the mud in boots with no socks, to have this young kid come in and one of those guys gets bumped from the lineup. That's a tough look in the room, right? It's like, damn, all we did was everything you said all season, and now you got a shiny new toy and I'm on the shelf, right? So we'll have to see how it plays out. I don't know. I think more firepower, the better, right? If he's great, if he can adjust quickly, I think that there's a team mentality here too, right? I think if he helps us, there's not a guy in this roster that wouldn't be fine with it. He'll figure it out.
And I think it's just consistency matters. Like Billy Guerin has always said, like, your job is earned, not given. And I think that they do treat it that way, where, like, you look at the number one power play last night, Freddie Gaudreau was on it. That spot was earned. He's been maybe one of their best forwards over the last couple of games, and he's on the power play. He's on power play 1, and he ends up getting the power play goal. So if it comes down to, and it should come down to, like, your opportunity is earned, not given, if the kid gets an opportunity, and he probably maybe has earned one. Like, you're a number one draft pick, you're a top prospect, you had a good college year. You, at the same time, he earns an opportunity. He's earned an opportunity to get one. And then it comes down to merit after that. So I think you just have to be consistent. If he makes mistakes and the bad outweighs the good, you got to get the hook and get the other guys back in there or something. But a consistency certainly will matter in the decision making. But I'm going to transition here to more defense. How about the buy-in last night from a guy like Matt Zuccarello? So he goes from the Vegas game saying it felt like we were dumping Chase. His comments felt like he was a little frustrated. And then all of a sudden, the next game, he comes out and he's 2 pads stacking, flying back to block a shot so Ovechkin doesn't get within 5 of Gretzky's record. That's complete buy-in. I've been saying it the last couple of podcasts. I think his leadership is underrated. I think he says the right things. He jumps on the knife when nobody else wants to. He shows up when times are tough. He goes away when things are going well. He says what he thinks, and then he backs it up. And he goes out and responds in a very team way the next game by blocking shots. I don't know if you see the same thing, but I think that his leadership's underrated from time to time.
Guy's a stud. Now remember, the people always kind of thought he was the Robin to Carill's Batman. And, you look at when he hasn't had 97, he's still been one of our best players consistently. And he does take the microphone at the hardest moments. When everybody else wants to look at their shoes, he's going to look you in the eye. I just think he's a stud. I think he's been a huge part of the last month for the Wild to not, swan dive here. I think Hartman as well. I think kind of Ryan and Zuki have really helped hold the team together at a pretty critical time. Obviously, Gus has as well with his play on the ice. But in terms of all the other stuff, almost everyone with a letter has been out of the lineup, right? Besides Spurgeon. And these guys have almost acted like honorary captains,
Those guys have stepped up, and then they've become the new Batmans, so to speak. But I think that they've gotten a couple Robins, too. And I think Freddie Gaudreau has been unbelievable. He's playing with confidence. The numbers are there. He's scoring goals. He's scoring timely goals. He's taking so think about last game alone, the Washington game. He got a power play goal, took the faceoff, won the faceoff, that got the power play. And then out there 6-on-5, he's the guy that takes the faceoff, wins the faceoff. They get the puck out of the zone eventually, skates it out, floats it over Chickman's head for the empty netter, and everybody gets their sigh of relief. He's been tremendous, and a big reason why the Wild aren't probably a little more tense than they could be in this wild card race. And then the second one is Vinny Hinostroza. We've been talking about the season being a marathon. They're getting a couple miles out of Freddie Gaudreau right now, and Vinny Hinostroza continues to chip in and take steps. Like, another, I thought, really good game. He's one of those guys that does a good job playing with speed and some skill, but he gets kind of right there in the meat grinder too. Like, he just goes behind the net and throws his little body around, and the puck pops out front, and Boldy scores a beautiful goal. Like, without Hinostroza there as like a little Tasmanian devil, I don't think that puck gets to Boldy. And there's probably 4 or 5 occasions throughout the game where Hinostroza, he stands out that way. So these Zuccarello, Hartman, those guys have stepped up. They've been good. They've been leaders, but they've gotten support from guys like Hinostroza and Gaudreau too. And they've been big difference makers.
The other guy I'd put on that secondary list is JoJo. And really he's a one-man breakout. We've really had a lot of trouble. You think of ladder play, you think of Kirill bringing the puck into the zone, some of the pieces missing. say what you will about JoJo, but man, that guy can get the puck up the ice. He is so fast. And you don't even need to do the ladder play. It's just like, give it to him. We'll get into the zone. I mean, that's been a huge benefit as in a time when I think we've been struggling with that a little bit. It's funny. It's a message to us on breaking the mold too. I mean, I think Freddie and JoJo were probably the two players that, were maligned last year, and they've both kind of bounced back. Freddie for sure, and had a different type of season where they're not on anybody's hit list for sure. So yeah, it's been, man, it's a grind though. What a long season, and every mile counts, right? I'd like St. Louis to lose a game once in a while, but I don't know how we make that happen.
I don't know. St. Louis, unbelievable, the heater that they're on right now. Actually, we'll get into that. But before we do, I'm sure you took a plane out to Palm Springs, but it might be worth a road trip when you get back to Stewartville, Minnesota, because they've got some cool things going on down there, don't they?
Yeah, I am going to go down to Stewartville, as a matter of fact. I'm going to talk to them about all their innovation that they're doing. They're a lot of people think of Jimmy's like this, Grandpa Jimmy, and they don't think of them as kind of this innovative company. But these guys are the flavor kings. They're trying stuff. And in the coleslaw category, they have the regular slaw. They got the pineapple slaw. They're going to have a 60-calorie. So kind of getting out of that, fat-free kind of weird space and getting into the 60-calorie slaw. And then they're going to do a jalapeno slaw, so a little spice with your crisp. But yeah, Jimmy's has got your back. Give me some Jimmy's. That's all you got to say. One of Minnesota's proud companies. Check them out.
So if on your way down to Stewartville, if you happen to be driving on take the back roads, if you see a nice scenic one and you happen to see any storm damage on any of the houses down there, just drop a Wild Construction card in their mailbox and let them know that they've got up to 12 months if a storm went through their area, that damage rears its ugly head nearly a year later. It's still all covered, but you are limited to just a year. So if you're wondering what storms went through your area, exactly what date it was, Wild Construction has all the resources on their webpage to help you figure that out. Select a storm, see the date. Yes, you're in that area. Give them a shout. They'll send somebody over. They'll jump up on the roof, assess everything. Could be the siding, could be the windows, could be the roof. I think roof is the one that we talk about the most, but all that stuff could be damaged. Your deck, any of that, and they'll take care of it. I know there were storms in northern Minnesota, storms in southern Minnesota, so make sure you check it out, wildconstruction.com. So, Kinger, wild card, Wild Construction, wild card. We would like Wild Construction to construct the Wild's path to be the number one spot in the wild card. I think that's what we want. But St. Louis is trying to disrupt this for us. Unbelievable how good they've been. 13-2-2 since the Four Nations break. They seemingly cannot lose. I was hitting refresh on the app last night. They were playing Nashville. Nashville was in the lead. I'm watching Washington, Minnesota, mostly because the national broadcast poached that game from us, FanDuel Sports Network, because they're on Ovi Watch. So I felt a little upset, and I was like, I'm going to watch this and critique it. It was a good game, nonetheless. But as I finish watching that game, St. Louis finds a way to win it. They win 3-2 over Nashville. It's like they can't lose. But let's look at the schedules down the stretch. And St. Louis has got, where they did have the easiest schedule, it doesn't sound that much easier anymore. They've got Colorado, Detroit, Pittsburgh.
Harder than ours, I think.
Now it starts to feel like it is the last 10. Colorado, Detroit, Pittsburgh, Colorado, Winnipeg, Edmonton, Seattle, Utah. So that starts to get hard for them. They've got 8 left. The Wild have 9. Minnesota's got New Jersey, who is a better team in the playoffs, but they're not playing that great. So they're gettable. The Wild could get 4 points there. You got the New York Rangers. Talk about them. Yeah, New York
They're
Rangers.
A mirror image of us.
Yep, New York Islanders. And then the Wild have Dallas at home, San Jose at home, then go out to Calgary, Vancouver. Those 2 games could be huge because those are the 2 teams that are chasing them the nearest outside the playoff spot, trying to get them. So those could be shut the door, close out games. and then they finish at home against Anaheim. So I think the Wild's schedule is set up to where they could end up going into the playoffs winning 4 or 5 in a row, which would feel good. So you look at Vancouver's schedule. Theirs is challenging too. It's Columbus, Winnipeg, Seattle, Anaheim, Vegas, Dallas, Colorado, Minnesota, San Jose, Vegas. So Vancouver's got their work cut out for them. And Calgary's similar. They go Edmonton, Colorado, Utah, Anaheim, Vegas, San Jose, Anaheim, Minnesota, San Jose, Vegas, LA. So Calgary's got a little bit easier schedule in the stretch there with like 4 or 5 games left. They've got some games they can win versus Anaheim, San Jose, and Anaheim again. But they finished with Vegas, LA. So that's going to be tough. Nonetheless, I think the Wild are in a good spot right now. They've got 87 points banked, 9 games left. Vancouver's got 80 points banked, 10 games left. 7 points to make up with 10 games to go and a game in hand. That's going to be tough. Now, St. Louis a little bit closer in the rearview mirror. They've got 85 points with 8 games to go, and it doesn't seem like they want to lose, and they could beat anybody. But yeah, that's kind of where we're at, man. How are you feeling about the playoff situation at the moment?
I think the message that I'm getting just from, it's so hard to do. You probably do it better than I do because you were a player, but don't get too high, don't get too low, right? So it's possible that St. Louis might get ahead of us for a little bit. That doesn't necessarily mean we won't pass them in the end. That's the thing I'm trying to work on is, how do you smooth out the bumps? Because that Dallas-Vegas back-to-back, I was on the ledge. I was like, this is, terrible. We had just beat Seattle and Buffalo, and I'm thinking, well, for Dallas and Vegas, we are Seattle and Buffalo. That was not a hard game for them to beat us, those 2 teams. And then you come out, beat the President's Trophy running team convincingly. I really thought we looked like ourselves last night.
Yeah.
For the first time. Part of that might have been just seeing the 17 jersey out there. That play Brodin on Ovi on the breakaway, that's the greatest. Like, everybody in that building on Ovechkin watch, it reminded me of a beer league game, like when a guy like me gets a breakaway and some try-hard defenseman stops me from scoring, and almost half the group is like, maybe just let him shoot that, right? Like Brodin just chasing down Ovi on the breakaway was awesome. And so I think and the reality is, if we end up playing Winnipeg, you got to play everybody anyway,
Hey, was that awesome? You liked Brodin chasing Ovi down?
I loved it. And you know why I loved it? Because everybody there was there for the other team, and a lot of them, I should say. And I love what Ovi did at the end of the game with Flower. That was super classy and cool. He's a great dude. Like his little pre-game, bands make her dance. Have you seen this? So he just says, bands make her dance. Bands make her dance. It must be like a techno song from Russia. This guy is just a electric factory. Like, I would love to hang out with Ovechkin, but we're trying to make the playoffs, man. It's in St. Paul. Absolutely not. Even on an empty netter, if somebody two-handed him and he didn't score, I'd love it. I'm a Wild fan. This is not the Globetrotters stopping in Minnesota and St. Paul. Yeah, absolutely. Take that away. I'm glad he didn't score.
I'm with you, but I'm against you too. Like, I was torn at that moment because I was kind of like, no, call a breakaway or call a penalty shot. Like, I wanted to see Ovi get a penalty shot. I don't know why I wanted that. I just did.
That was my favorite play in the whole game, actually. I was yes.
And I think he deserved one.
Anti-hero.
I think he deserved one. If you look at the penalty that Brazeau got for like a slash on who was it, Sandin's hands or something, that was like that was nothing compared to Brodin's like slash on the stick of Ovechkin. Not to mention it was Ovechkin on a breakaway. Like, it's different as he's chasing down Gretzky. I can't believe the referees weren't jumping at the opportunity to be like, yes, penalty shot, boom. I wanted to see it. I think the only reason I'm okay with it not happening is if it was Flower in the net, I'd have spent 45 minutes today complaining that there wasn't a penalty shot, Ovi versus Flower. last night. That would have been unbelievable, must-see TV. But yeah, I was torn. I wanted to see Ovi score. Even after the Wild got the empty netter, I was like, yes, Ovi. I wanted to see him score. I did. I don't know.
No, I was not.
You're not there
at all. No, I am sweating bullets. By the way, I think the referees that didn't call that, they flew immediately to Fargo and they did the second 2 periods of the Gopher game probably. But no. I mean, come on. It's entertainment, but at the end of the day, we're trying to make the playoffs. I loved it.
I think throughout the game, the Wild did Ovi dirty, and I don't think it's this way if the Wild aren't this hungry for points. Like if it isn't this important for them.
Yeah.
Like, did you see Gaudreau on the penalty kill where they just basically shadowed Ovi, and Ovi, like for the first time that I can ever recall seeing, vacated his power play spot and went and ran like middle top. And it's amazing. Yeah. This is amazing. Nobody is probably better at taking a one-timer than Alex Ovechkin. Nobody has scored more one-timer goals than Alex Ovechkin. Fair?
Yep.
He got 2 one-timers where he was middle top righty right in his wheelhouse that he couldn't shoot. It's almost like he can only take it from the angle D down, like that angle, because the other one was from like the dot up, and he couldn't do it. Like he fanned on him, and that might not be fair because he doesn't take a lot of those, and he might whiff on some of his from Ovi's office from time to time too. So the sample size is much smaller. But I walked away being like, dang, that guy's got that one shot dialed, and if it changes even a little bit, his success rate becomes very pedestrian or league average, right? So I don't know. I found that interesting, but I do think the Wild did Ovi dirty. They're like, you're not getting one tonight.
Well, imagine you were in the room. Imagine you just had that Dallas Vegas swing, and you're hearing this game being referred to as the Ovi game, right? You got all these Christmas gifts and families coming down to the rink, and I mean, of course, no, you don't want that. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants to be posterized.
And I just got done pumping up Zuki, but I would love to have him sitting next to me right now so I could ask him, did you 2-pad stack and block that shot on the faceoff out of nowhere because you wanted the 2 points in this game right now? Or did part of you really want to just keep Ovi off the scoreboard and not let him get one too? Because I think that played a role in it.
Oh, he knows it's number 8. Absolutely both. And I love that, man. These guys are competitors, right? I mean, think of yourself. You won't lose a cornhole game or an arm wrestling match. I mean, they don't want that. They don't want to be the guy in the poster. Yeah. No one wants to be the guy in the poster.
I got to make one more comment on Ovi Watch. I was like scrolling through ESPN Plus trying to find this game, and I didn't realize ESPN Plus has like 100 channels. So I'm like ripping through all of these channels, can't find it, and I finally see it, Wild versus whatever, Ovi Watch. So I spend 10 minutes on this broadcast, and it was literally a secondary feed of just Ovi Watch. So it was a split screen of like Ovechkin iso-cammed, and then the whole game in like another little corner of it. And I was like, I can't believe this is the broadcast. It took me 10 minutes to figure out that this is a secondary broadcast, which.
Oh, so you were just watching it?
Yeah.
What did it look like? They were promoting it on the regular broadcast. I couldn't figure out how to click on it. I guess it was a different feed. But what did you think of it? Was it entertaining to watch that, or would they just film him sitting on the bench for 2 minutes?
The chunk I watched, it'd just be him on the bench, like fixing his helmet, spitting, whatever he was doing, and then the game on the other side. So it was like ISOCAM Ovi all day, which it was kind of interesting. Hilarious. Like you get to see like his bench
that could be the future, man.
And he was like talking to himself. Like at times it was also a little weird. Like he'd just be talking or singing or doing whatever he was doing, not to anybody else, you know. So it was like that was kind of fun to watch.
You got to look up this band. Look up this Bands Maker dance. What he just screams it. I don't know what it means. He makes me so happy. It's like dancing with a grizzly bear, you know. Hey, one thing I know the whole world will be talking about Ovechkin yelling for the team to come back on the ice. Everybody shakes Flowers' hands, stick taps. How good a human being do you have to be to have a reaction like that? Like this Flower, I mean, he's like, is he a saint? I mean, should he be sainted? I mean,
I think he's a
I
unicorn.
can't imagine the life you have to live. What kind of life do you have to live, Carter, that the opposition, they just got beat. He's screaming for guys to come back down the tunnel and shake this man's hand. I mean, holy hell.
It's everything, right? And it's like he's a unicorn. It's in some ways like a perfect storm too, where Ovi and Flower had the battles back in the day, and it was Sid and Ovi, and Flower was obviously a huge part of that. Then he kind of got, they did him dirty a little bit and went with Murray and then ship him off to Vegas. But then he goes to Vegas and wins a Vezina, Stanley Cup. It's just the fact that I think he's like resilient, but always happy with it too. And then Ray Ferraro said it best too. He did a great job because that was all ad-libbed. I don't think it was planned. And Ray Ferraro's commentary was terrific. But you have to be a tremendous human too. So Fleury is always maintained being a tremendous human while facing all of this adversity. And despite the fact that he's like unbelievable at his job, he still has had huge hurdles to overcome, and he's done it in such a gentleman type of way that it's so respectable, and it's gotten the attention of not just like media people, but the players, and everybody I think respects, loves, and appreciates what he's brought, and it's consistent. And I thought that was pretty cool too. And for Ovi to do that, and the way he did it, and for Flower to run out there too. So I liked it. I thought it was sweet.
Think of the impact on the Wild's culture too, right? To get him in these years at the end. I mean, it's a public service announcement every night to be a good dude. I mean, if you think of your culture in the Wild, I mean, this is a guy who did everything the right way, and you just get reminded of it all the time. So if you're a young player coming up in the Wild system, I mean, that's a pretty powerful intangible having Flower on our team these last few years.
Not only that, just for the Wild too. Speaking of breaking the mold, Minnesota's flyover country to everybody else, right? So when you get a guy like Flower, the Minnesota Wild get to have a moment like that because Flower's on their team too. And I think Bill Guerin recognized that when he signed Fleury. He's like, hey, like we're a good team. This is a great organization, and it gets looked over because people fly over, and that's not fair. Like, they have a marketable piece right now, and this wasn't staged, this wasn't fake, it was real. But the Wild get to have a moment alongside Marc-Andre Fleury, and just being a part of that and his story, I think, has brought the Wild and the brand and the organization to like it bumped them up to the next tier. Like, it's original six, and then there's like the next tier, and the Wild might be approaching that now. You know what I mean? And it's because of guys like Kaprizov, but maybe even more of an impact would come from a guy like Fleury. And I think Bill Guerin saw that a long time ago, and it's still paying dividends.
Yeah, Billy's got a marketing minor for sure. He may not know it, but he's got a little CMO in him as well, which we're happy about.
All right, well, let's get to our guest today. It's going to end up being Frederic Chabot, the goaltending coach for the Minnesota Wild, and he himself must be a little bit of a guru, because you go from Marc-Andre Fleury and Filip Gustavsson to not having great years last year to hitting the reset button, and we're going to figure out how they hit that reset button, and then all of a sudden have become one of the best tandems in the NHL. Like how does it flip-flop? That's pretty amazing. And the goaltenders in general have been the story of the year, but I don't know that we've given them enough credit and made them the story of the year. Like, it's been about injuries, it's been about Krill being out and different things, but the real story of the year is how good the goaltending has been. Excited to talk to Frederic Chabot just on how that came about. So, well, let's give it to him. All right, sitting with me is goaltending coach Frederic Chabot, and this interview is brought to you by Duke Cannon. go to your local retailer, look for the big D, and heck, hey, you can even go to your local hardware shop because they sell their stuff there. Work harder, smell better, Duke Cannon. So let me introduce you to goaltender extraordinaire Frederic Chabot. He's played in Montreal, LA, other stops, goaltending coach. So now tell us, you've been, how many years is this Minnesota now? Probably like 5 or 6?
Five in Iowa and 5 here.
Oh, so 10 total here.
Yeah.
Wow. So you've had your hands over the on the crease here in Minnesota for quite some time. So how is it now? I want to, maybe I should start here too, because I'm curious how the transition went. You went last year, goaltending maybe wasn't at its best. They underachieved, and I think they both probably did by their own standards. And then they hit the reset button, and all of a sudden this year it's almost flipped entirely to now where they're like the best tandem in the NHL. So what has changed?
Well, hockey is a team sport, so the environment makes a big difference on the quality of the performance of the goalies, I find. If you look around the league, a guy like Kemper, who had 1 or 2 difficult season in Washington, was playing under his capabilities. Now he's having a fantastic year in LA where he's better protected. He feels better in that system, and he's playing great. I think the same kind of thing happened here last year, where early in the year defensively we really struggled. We gave up a lot, and during the season it took a while before we start playing better defense. So that feeling of trust between the players and the goalies and the system and everything we do was just not there. And you can see by the work that John has put together to put together a system that fits the players we have, and demanding the higher level of work and work ethic and effort and detail. I think it helps everybody, and definitely helps the goalies.
So with that, how do you manage the workload of goaltenders? Because that's got to be a tough one throughout the NHL schedule too.
Well, it depends on the goalies you have.
Yeah, like Marty Brodeur was like, I'll play 80 games if I can, you know.
Yeah, but Marty was 6'3". He was always a heavier guy, like 220, 230, and there was no problem for him playing a lot of games, a lot of minutes. And let's be honest, in New Jersey for 10 years, he was extremely, like, really well protected. His challenge was to not give up any goals, because he hardly give up any shots. So you get 20 shots a game, you're supposed to stop pretty much all of them, and he did. And that was his challenge. Well, if you play for a team that gives up a lot of shots, then your challenge is different. You got to be ready for a heavy workload every night. But again, maybe you're allowed to give up one more than Marty.
Has the position or philosophy with goaltending changed too? Because I feel like a lot of teams are going more towards like balance, like 1A, 1B versus like a straight number one goaltender, like probably 15, 20 years ago, the way it was. What has changed, do you think, with that?
I'm not sure exactly why it's going that way, but it's definitely a plus when you can count on 2 guys. First, I think it's to make sure your number 2 feels fresh and he feels good when he gets in the net. So he needs a little more action. And maybe it's all the travel and the way the schedule works. But if you think about travel today, there's no more commercial flights, and the players get well fed, and the travel is as good as it can be. So what is it exactly? I think it's teams see a value in having 2 really good goalies, that if one is struggling, at least you have another answer. And if you have 2 goalies that are pretty even, then you got to play both to keep them sharp and get the best out of them. But sure, if you have a Marty Brodeur in your lineup, then you got to ride him.
How do you keep the goaltenders to be so consistent? Because like if I look at Gus's year, for example, it was great start, good for a long period of time, like a little blip there maybe. And again, some of that's the team in front of him, but that's also the hard part about playing goaltender. But he comes out of it and he's playing great hockey again. how do you keep them like consistently in that mindset with confidence too? Because when things don't go well and you're a goaltender, it's not like you can hide like you can as a forward and have 6 or 7 games where you're not playing your best, but it's okay. Like a goaltender, it's not that easy.
No, it's it's that when we make a mistake, the referee's pointing at us. It says goal. So, I think it's working with the individual. Getting to know each other. Like the goalies, as they get older, they get better at handling pressure, at handling different situations that they've gone through in the minors or here in the NHL. But coaches, we get better too at finding ways to deal with each individual and getting the best out of them. So I think it's adjusting and building the relationship and finding when to say what and what to ask. Is it more effort? Is it changing the mindset? Is it relieving pressure? It's an everyday thing. You gotta try to get a feel for your goalie and what's going to be best on that day to get the best out of them.
And so what's like a game day routine for you with the goalies? And maybe it's different for both goaltenders, like depending on when they're playing that day. But like, what's the normal routine? A little early for practice, couple of saves, feel the puck, a little chat, and then let them go? Or how does it work?
On my side, through the years, I think I've been doing this now for almost 20 years. I try to adjust. Yeah, there's basic things that I demand from them, and I try to keep their skating sharp because the game is so fast now. The goalies need to be really good skaters. They need to be quick on their feet, but also being able to move on their knees. But as the season goes on, I'll adjust the skating drills in the morning of a game to mimic how the other team attacks, what they do in the power play, or what they do 5-on-5. So the skating drill often has something to do with how the other team plays. So it's a couple of skating drills. It takes 1 minute. Both guys do it with high tempo. And, they start a little sweat. And they get the shots they want for warm-up just to feel the puck, see the puck. Then I'll do a drill that I've been doing for a couple of years now where it's just a rebound situation or quick short one-timers around the net where they have to find the puck, they have to find their post, and they have to compete to make a couple of saves before practice starts. So when practice starts, it's game on. It's not, I'm warming up in the first drill. I expect them to be good in that first drill.
How come goalies never take optionals? It seems like optionals aren't optional for a goaltender. Like do they just like seeing a puck? Like, is that like a prerequisite?
Well, for a guy like Fleury, he loves to skate. He needs to feel the puck, and because he's a little older, he wants to go out there to loosen up. So he really takes an optional off. He's out there and he needs to loosen up his body, his hips, his groin, and his back. But Gus has taken a few optional this year. It's just the way the schedule is work. He hasn't taken that many. But as we go along, he's playing a lot of games right now. He will take his option. Like today, if it was a regular day with a 7:00 game tomorrow, he wouldn't skate today, but today he went out for 10, 15 minutes just to get a sweat because we're not skating tomorrow morning.
So if you were to pinpoint one thing that has helped Gus turn things around over the summer, like hit the hard reset button, did whatever he did this summer, came back, motivated, different, what do you think has stood out the most in terms of deserves credit for him in his play this year?
Well, credit to him first. He wasn't known for a guy who was super fit, and he will never be the king of fitness. But every year his fitness got better, and he's really trying his best. Also, after the season last year, I did a review of his play and what he could do better, what situation or technically what he could do better. And he went in the summer and he took care of it with his coach he had in junior back home. And they did a great job. He came back. He just went back to basics, simplifying. What happens, like last year, we're giving up a lot of high quality chances. And you see that with every goalie in the league and every level. When your goalies see a lot of high danger chances, they can hang on for a while, but sooner or later they start giving up goals. When they start giving up goals, then they start trying too hard, and they come out of what works for them. Then it usually doesn't work. They give up even more goals, and they kind of get lost for a little bit. And the solution for all goalies is just go back to basics, go back to what works for you. And that's pretty much what Filip did this summer. He went back to basic. He came to camp ready. He came to camp really dialed in the few things I asked him to get better at. And he's been awesome since.
Now, I think people forget he's still young in terms of a goaltender. Like, his experience for his age right now is certainly probably above the average curve or line there. But I also think that he's had to handle a lot of distractions too. Like, he gets his first one-way contract, a little bit of comfort last year. He has a kid, like a lot of life changes. Do you think he's matured too as a person, and that's helped this year?
Yeah, and the environment helps too. Like, just watching Flower, his work ethic, his compete level, and how Flower handles the media, how he handles a fan. I think not just Gus, but a lot of players on our team learned from that. And Gus has matured a lot, just how to deal with the games go. Like the last few games, we're not scoring a lot right now. So he's found ways to keep the games to 1 or 2 goals max, and he keeps us in games. And he makes a mistake. He's dealing better with mistake than he used a year or 2 ago. So it's fun to see him grow. And it's a normal pattern. He's 26, I think now. So the last 2-3 years, he's been growing up quick.
Yeah, no doubt. Certainly has, and it's impressive. I think you as a fan, sometimes we look at it and just say, like, that's a goal in the NHL. You forget that he's a young person. There's actually a person there, and sometimes you got to work through stuff there, so give him credit for that. So Flower, known as a prankster, too. Has he ever gotten you?
No, he leaves the coaches alone.
Is that pretty smart? That's wisdom right there?
I think that's wisdom.
That's good. Can you talk about Flower, like, as a person a little bit? We do get to see the media side of Flower. Like you mentioned just now, the fact that the way he talks to him, he addresses them, and he's polite and everybody loves him. What's he like in other situations, with the goaltender coach or with the guy that he's competing for the crease with? What is he like in those situations?
He comes as advertised. He's just an awesome guy to be around. He brings his best every day. He has a great attitude, a smile on his face, and there's just no surprise. I think the biggest surprise you see that you get while working with him is see how competitive he is. So, and then you realize that's why he's played so long and he's been so good. He will not give up on pucks, and he hates giving up goals. And but that's on the ice. He gets off the ice, you give him 15 minutes and he's okay. He's back to normal Flower, smiling and nice with everybody. So he's just an awesome person to be around, and he's going to be missed. And I'm sure he's going to be like any players that retires the first year. You miss the game, but then you go on and you find other things you like to do, and he'll be fine.
I think it's understandable to see or to know, hey, your teammates love you, you're a good guy. We hear great stories about you, but there has to be something different about him too, because everybody loves him. Like, you get Alex Ovechkin last night calling his team out from the tunnel, saying, "Get out here and shake his hand." Just like, this is special. What has it now? Some of it's the person, but what all has to come together for Marc-Andre Fleury to have that kind of presence or that kind of impact?
I don't know. I think it's the consistency. He's just the way he was brought up, the energy he brings with him, and he's like that with everybody. So he's how can I say? It's contagious. Is the love of the game, the love of life, the love of people around him. And you have no excuse not to love him. So yeah. See, I think that's what it is. When I saw that last night, I was a little bit mind blown. They've been enemies for 20 years, and now he's you see Ovi calling the whole team to shake his hand. It was really special.
Yeah, and maybe I don't know that a bigger sign of respect, saying like was like my number one adversary through my prime.
Yeah.
Like the road to what I wanted was through Marc-Andre Fleury, right? And I battled him, and it was a grind. But hold on, guys, we're nearing the end of our time in this game. Get out here, shake this guy's hand.
Yeah.
Like this is amazing. Like that moment is pretty cool.
Yeah. That it happened in Montreal was not surprising, but last night was surprising. It was like, wow, this is special.
Yeah, and again, just that it was Ovechkin and their history and all of that. That was special. Coming down the stretch, like what needs to happen for the goaltenders to be in a good spot to close out the regular season, to make the playoffs, and then all of a sudden, hopefully, make some noise in the playoffs?
I think we just got to keep doing what we're doing right now. To me, you got to treat every hockey game the same. It's a preseason game, regular season game, or a playoff game for the goalies is the same. There's no way around it. If you don't show up and you don't have the right mindset, you're gonna get embarrassed. So you have to lead the team with your energy and your compete level, but also how you prepare. And I think when your teammates see that you prepare the right way and you're ready to go every night, they can feed off of that. You bring good energy to them, and so it's just we got to keep doing what we're doing. And if you watch our team play, how hard the guys work, and even though we don't always have our best game, but everybody in that dressing room is working really hard and competing hard and doing the best they can to try to win every game.
Okay, a couple things. Just need your opinion on these now. What's your favorite dinner spot on the road?
I don't really have one. I usually just follow wherever the coaches are going. I'm really easy. I can eat anything. So I like steaks, but if we go to an Italian place, I'll be happy too. So
You have a certain road city you like to stop at?
I've always been a big fan of Boston. I think Boston is a beautiful city. Also, with the years, I got to know Washington and Philly are really nice. Sure, the West Coast is beautiful too. It's always nice to go where it's warm. But with the years, you get to know the cities. I played with Montreal a little bit, so yeah, I love Montreal. But also, I wish they had a team in Quebec City. So because I love Quebec City, it's a beautiful place.
Awesome. Yeah, we stayed in Quebec when I played with Ottawa, and it was beautiful. The food was great too. Like there was a lot to like about it, and it'd be fun to have a team there and go visit. Let's say big win. You're going to celebrate. What's the go-to drink?
Oh, well, beers are always available, but the last few years I start really liking just a simple gin and tonic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Keep it simple, keep it light.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah. So now you played Montreal. What years would that have been?
I was there twice. I was there early 90s and late 90s.
This is a hot button topic. So you were obviously there as a visitor sometimes too.
Yeah.
And did you ever eat the toastie dogs?
Yeah.
Do you have like a personal record of toastie dogs?
No. No. I don't know, maybe 3, 4, 5, but
3, 4, 5.
Yeah.
That's a good number. Yeah. I think that's adequate. Now, is that on game day or are you backing up? Are you rolling the dice after the second period saying, I don't think I'm going to get in there today. I'm going to have 4 toastie dogs? Or
that's backing up for sure, 3 or 4.
Yeah. You have any stories like that where like you're backing up or you played with somebody that was backing up where, they have a couple too many snacks. Next thing you know, they're in the game and things went sideways?
There was a story. I can't remember which goalie. He was in the island, and he came off the bench to go into the game, and some food fell off of his pads. he had some candy bars in his pads, or whatever he had.
You got to hide them in there?
Yeah.
There's stories of Brizgalov or different guys who would have like their Game Boy in there when he was playing the American League. Because, some buildings, the goaltender doesn't fit on the bench, right? So they'll sit by themselves. By the way, what's that like when you're isolated from your team? Like, let's say Fleury in San Jose or somebody in
Winnipeg, I think it's
Winnipeg
Yeah, that sucks.
or Dallas.
You don't feel in the game. You're kind of lost in the corner.
You're sitting in the stands with like people inside like a little penalty box, so they don't throw.
My son
toastie
plays
dogs at you?
senior hockey in Quebec. Now he quit playing hockey last year, so he's got a good job, and he plays senior hockey a couple nights a week. And I was watching one of those games online 2 days ago, and the backup was sitting pretty much with the fans. So I thought it was pretty funny. Opening night of the Air Canada Centre in Toronto. It was Montreal against Toronto. I was backing up. And the way they had the bench set up back then, I was sitting with a fan in a VIP section, and he had way too much to drink. So the whole night he's trying to talk to me. I'm like, oh my God, this is awful.
Funny. Yeah. And I suppose they probably thought you guys were best friends, and you're
Oh,
like,
yeah.
that's good. Well, I tell you what, whatever you've done with the goaltenders, and I know that they've put in work too, and you don't want to take any credit for it, but it's been fun to watch. I think at times too, it's been an underrated story. The story of the Wild season has been injuries. But I think the real story is probably the turnaround and the play of the goaltenders, and I don't know that they've gotten enough attention for that. So trying to give them their moment here and talk about how good they've been. But you certainly have had a hand in that. So congratulations in the work and efforts that you've put in. But thank you for stopping up for a handful of minutes with us. Always good to get your insight. So thanks, Freddie.
Thank you. Yeah, the goalies have been great. They work hard. They're good, both really good guys. But again, you look around the league and you see a successful goalie. Just look in front of them. There's a team that's working really hard. So that's why we're winning.
Yeah, and both goalies are like I watch. They're both great interviews. They're both good speakers, good teammates, and goaltenders get a bad rap. I don't know if you know this, but a lot of people think goaltenders are like maybe the more weird guy on the team. I think they get a bad rap, man. They're good. And these two guys are entertaining.
Well, I'm sure there's a few goalies out there that are responsible for that.
We mentioned one, Briskalov.
Yeah.
But so we'll have a good day. Thank you.
All right. Thanks for having me.
Great insights from Frederic Chabot on Filip Gustavsson, on Marc-Andre Fleury. Just appreciate the perspectives and what a job he's done to get those guys to have hit the reset button, come back, and be really the quiet story of the season. Just manage them terrifically. All right, so, Kinger, let's take a look down the stretch. We've saved the best for last, the Bosch Law injury report, because it's finally shrinking. We've got Marcus Foligno back. There's good news. Tempered good news that Kaprizov and Eriksson Ek are finally skating, and they've been very clear about this, that doesn't mean they're a week away. It means that there's probably still some time, but it's the next step. Nonetheless, the light at the end of the tunnel is getting closer, and that is exciting. Now, to cap off the Bosch Law injury report, let's move around the league a little bit, because you have another team that's in a spot similar to the Minnesota Wild that are who's without their stud, and the Wild are going to play him twice this weekend. That's the New Jersey Devils. They're without Jack Hughes. He enters the Bosch Law injury report because the Wild will not have to face him this weekend.
This team is identical to what we've been going through. Even if you listen to the national media, right? Chiclets, all these places, they're complaining about, the kind of grind style hockey that the Wild have been having to play and the Devils have been having to play. So you got Hughes out. You got Dougie Hamilton out. So you got a stud D, their best player. Siegenthaler is out. Cody Glass is out. So they are in the same mode as us. They're the Eastern Conference version of the Wild. They have all these top players, top D man, best player out for this huge chunk of time after a hot start. And so this is a Rocky movie, right? We got same situation, same obstacles, back-to-back games. Who wants it more? So I'm very intrigued by this New Jersey back-to-back.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. They're gettable games. That's what's exciting about it, is where you went into the Dallas-Vegas game, you're like, hopefully we can steal a point. If we get two, we're happy about this. And the Washington game, I think, was a coin flip. It didn't seem as scary as the back-to-back against Dallas and Vegas because of travel and all the other things that are associated with the back-to-back. But it still felt like, it's going to take something impressive for the Wild to win that game. Now, the New Jersey series feels like there's a chance you can take 4 points. Maybe that could even be expectation a little bit at this point. So it'll be good to see home and home. That's kind of intriguing a little bit too. Let's see if animosity will build up from game 1 to game 2. Wild have some of their agitators back. Marcus Foligno back in the lineup. I think he instantly made an impact. Like the team looked and played a little bit bigger than they had the previous game. So good to have him back. Hey, now we got a Pep's Draft House question here, and Pep's Original. You can get them at Cub Foods and other participating retailers around town. Great frozen pizzas. I actually love them. Kids love them at home too. Kinger, who do you think over this last stretch? The Wild have won 6 games. What is it? They're 4 of their last 6, and it didn't feel that way, but they have. Who is your kind of like your number 1 star of that stretch?
Well, especially on this episode, I got to say Gus. I think you're right. I don't know why, Karts, but we haven't talked about the goaltending that much. I think Gus was about a 900 save percentage last year. He's in the 920s or something now. He's just been a rock. He's been a constant in a time that so many players have been in and out of the lineup. And I think we underestimate how many miles Gus has given us, especially starting 10 out of 11 games here. And I know that seems probably like a boring answer because he's a goaltender, but I would give it to Gus. I just think I don't think we're in the position we are today, even if he blinks. If he just has a week where he can't figure it out, I know Flower can come in there, but we've been riding the Gus bus. We really have, and it's paying dividends. So he would be mine.
I'd go with Boldy. So I felt like there's been a lot of pressure with Kaprizov out and the narrative has been, and I think I've applied some of this narrative that, hey, now it's Boldy's team. Kaprizov's out. Let's see what Boldy can do. And it's challenging because you've got everybody's attention. I think that he's broken through. I think he's probably learned some things, and he looks like a different player. The Seattle and Buffalo games, I thought he was terrific against the big teams in Dallas and Vegas. He was competitive and helped and played within a structure and a style. Like that, I think that's what's most impressive is he's also playing a very mature game. Like he's not making mistakes. He's doing what he should do, shooting the puck still. So I think he's taken a step, and though the stats maybe don't jump off the page at you, he still keeps chipping in. And when these games matter, especially when you're looking at and hitting refresh on the playoff scenarios and situations and points, he's helping them get points at the critical time, and his play has been at its best when they need him the absolute most. And he's being put in different situations. He's middle top on the power play. He's never been there before, but he produced. So I think my hat's off to Boldy there. What do you think?
And his goal last night was awesome. His wingspan, if he can slow down the game and get you on his back, you are cooked. I mean, you're done. I think his stick is longer than Zuccarello's, even though we'd have to measure. But there's something he does where he will box you out like the best basketball player at Lifetime you've ever run against. If he gets you slowed down and you're trying to kind of play one-on-one hockey with him, he will own you. And he's become a primetime player. I think that's what you're focused on. All eyes were on Minnesota-Washington last night. He's the guy doing an interview post-game along with Gus, right?
Yep.
4 Nations. He rose to the occasion. I think his playoff history is kind of mixed, right? So now we're going to get to see an opportunity, hopefully, here where he can do the exact same thing in the playoffs, hopefully with 97 on the ice with him. But, Boldy's been outstanding, rising into that one spot when it was vacant. So I'm with you on both these guys.
Right on. All right, well, we'll see how things play out over the weekend. The home and home against the Devils, and then they're kind of off to the races, the Eastern swing through New York and stuff. So there's gettable games, and we'll see how things play out. But we're here
till it's here.
All right, don't forget the sunscreen down there. Or actually, you probably tan more than burn, so you're safe there. But I know your mom wanted to get you into the pool for water aerobics, so we won't keep you any longer.
Yeah, I might do that. I might do the water aerobics. I got to see what the crowd's like. If it's a quiet pool, I might dabble. I might get in there. But if it's a lot of spectators, I don't know. We'll see.